fantasy. Original Booktube books. Definitely a last one. Hello guys, welcome back and welcome to February's Bookish monthly reset. We had the January one. The January one was kind of like the New Year reset one. I'm so excited to do one of these every single month and just have like a day or a couple of days dedicated to just getting back on track, organising everything bookish related and setting myself up for the following month's worth of reads and bookish enjoyment. So today / tomorrow, each one's probably going to be a couple of days long. Today / tomorrow, I want to do a review of my book journal, start filling it in, and we can actually start adding some colour. If you saw my book journal setup video, you know there's a few things that I want to tweak and update. I really don't like my cover page, so I want to go through the book journal, start filling in all of my January stats, tweak a few bits. I also want to do a review and a bit of a recce of my TBR shelf. I think there's some books on there that I might actually want to unhaul, but we're going to have a look at the shelf, see what's missing, see what we were excited to read next. I also want to choose a book in this video. I'm not reading anything right now. I've just finished listening to the audiobook of Deep End by Ali Hazelwood, so I'll also give you my review of that. And then finally, the best bit, because it's Valentine's week, and on Valentine's week, we love ourselves and we do things that make us happy, we're gonna go book shopping. I haven't been in a bookshop yet in 2025. 2025 has not seen Ellen in a bookshop, which just feels like an actual crime. So we're gonna go on our first book shopping trip of the year, treat ourselves to a few. There is at least one book that is like burning my soul that I haven't bought it yet. I know that's dramatic, but that is how strongly I feel. So I'm desperate to go and buy that one book in particular. There's also a few others that I've got my eye on. So anyway, we're gonna do all the bookish things over the next 48 hours because it just feels like the perfect way to spend Valentine's week. And as always, because I love a holiday, I love a special occasion, I love a theme, look at me. I'm sickeningly coated, it feels like, in Valentine's Day stuff today. My pink room is the perfect place for Valentine's Day week anyway. And my favourite mug in the whole world, my little red heart mug. I've got my pink and red jumper. And I also wanted to show you something equally as wonderfully Valentine's Day themed. Wild have a new limited edition Valentine's Day heart case. Look at this perfection. You guys know, I've been working with them for absolutely years. They're the only deodorant I use. They have their signature aluminium cases with their refillable deodorant inserts in a number of different prints, but I honestly think this one now might take the cake as my favorite. I also love their B case, but this one, as well as the sustainability element of using compostable, refillable deodorant inserts, is how nice the formula is. There is some kind of secret sauce in the Wild deodorant that is so moisturizing. I used to get really dry, really sore underarm skin, and ever since I switched to Wild, it's just a thing of the past. And alongside the new limited edition heart case, they also, of course, have a limited edition scent as well. This one is so nice. It's called Love Potion, and the scent is a mixture of like strawberries and cream with a bit of champagne in there. It's so fresh and gives you 24-hour lasting protection. And the heart print is also available in their refillable lip balms. Look how cute the black is as well. I should have said the heart print comes in both black and red. And you can also get the heart print for their refillable body wash bottles as well. So you can, as always with Wild, have matching everything. So if you are looking for a treat for yourself this Valentine's Day, or for someone else, because I honestly think this would be such a cute gift for like a mum, a sister, one of your bookish besties, then you can use my code EllenWild for 20% off. You can follow the QR code, you can click the link in the description. It's always nice to have a little bit of money off something, so Ellen Wild will get you 20% off. So if you are in the market for new deodorant, or you want to make more sustainable switches, or you just think this is so cute, you have to have it, then definitely use my code and check them out. Okay, right, I'm gonna finish my tea, and then let's get cracking. I think we're probably gonna start with the journal. I'm desperate to get that updated, so I think we're gonna start there. I don't think we're gonna go book shopping today. I think that's gonna be a tomorrow thing. The weather is grim. I am so ready for spring, but I think we've got another like month to go. Like it's not spring yet, so I just have to dress in pink, wear my hearts, use my heart deodorant. I have to just do all the bright, happy things until we get actual spring. But the weather's so bad, I think we're gonna save book shopping until tomorrow in the hopes that it's a little bit better then. But for now, let's get the journal out. Okay, let's talk reading journal updates. So I just really didn't like my cover page. I felt like it needed revamping, sprucing. I didn't like the gold thing. It just bled, not very nice. So I've stuck
paper over that section and we're trying again. I decided to cut out 2025 from some pink plain paper to go over the top of the kind of cottagey prints, which are all pastels of blues and pinks, and I way prefer this. I thought this looked so much cuter. It is a little bit fiddly cutting individual numbers out, but I just prefer it. I still don't love me doing like my own handwriting for the Ellen's reading journal because I just don't have very nice like script writing, but journals are not meant to be perfect. This is testing my perfectionism doing the reading journal. And then I just personally love it when things are outlined. I went for quite like a poppy blue, which doesn't totally fit with the pastel thing, but I just think it makes the 2025 pop. So much happy with that now. Finally, on to updating some of the stats. So I need to work out where to put my color coordination. Maybe I'll put it on some of the shelves, but I've basically decided to color categorize my like 3 stars, 4 stars, 5 stars. So I'm coloring in the books on the shelf, what I rated that book, if you know what I mean. And then I updated my reading monthly tracker. I really like that page, really simple, but I still can't believe I only read 4 books in January. It's so few. Then on to updating my reading bucket list page. I've said it before, I'll say it again. I think this is going to be my favorite page. So I just chose 2. I did audiobook and a book with a blue cover, which was Deep End and was also an audiobook as well. To be honest, I really could have filled in more of the book bingo, but I want to do it as I go. I then did a quick update of my series tracker, and then finally using my sprocket, because I didn't get a chance to do my 2025 anticipated releases page when I first set up the journal. This thing is so much fun. The quality of the colors when you print it out is not amazing. I will confirm that. I was nervous about that, and it is true. But the fact that you can do this little collage thing and then print out the tiny little squares to go into your book journal is so perfect. You just use an app on your phone to make the little collage, and then it just prints straight out. No ink needed. I mean, it kind of just blows my mind. And the best bit is that it prints on sticky paper. So all you have to do is peel the back off and it sticks straight in. So unbelievably handy. So I filled in a few of these and then got on to doing my book of the month. Now, I can't believe The Dixon Rule by Elle Kennedy is my book of the month, but it is. It was my book of January. I gave it 4.75 stars. It wasn't a full 5 stars. I actually gave Circe a full 5 stars, but the vibes were so high. I had so much fun reading this book, even if it didn't get as high of a rating. I am not going to forget it. I just think that it deserved the top spot, no matter how rogue of a choice that might be in the face of Circe. So that was January. I'm honestly so looking forward to having this full spread of books of the months filled out, and for the first time I'm actually filling in like a bit of a description of the book as well. And then, just because it's nice to reflect on my efforts, we've got a little flick through of where it's at right now, the updates, and I'm just so excited to have this month by month fill up, and I'm so pleased I put the effort in to do like a big bulk attempt at populating it at the beginning of the year. I think it's going to make it so much easier to keep up with throughout the year. But there we go, that is the updates for January.
Morning. It's actually like the following day, like the day after. I spoke to you 2 days ago, basically. Yesterday, I feel like I'm like coming down with a cold. Yesterday, I felt super rough. But anyway, I'm feeling great today because we get to go book shopping and I'm so excited. But before we go book shopping, here is the shelf. The next thing on the Bookish reset to-do list is reviewing the TBR shelf, seeing what's on here. You know, when you just kind of like forget what even is here, which books do I want to buy? Do I already own those books? Are there any books I want to get rid of? I do feel like, relatively speaking, in the Booktube universe, I am pretty good, you guys can all correct me, at keeping my TBR shelf, my physical TBR, relatively short. And I don't have like hundreds of books on my shelf that are unread. I try and keep my TBR, physical TBR, as small as possible, while still getting carried away buying books sometimes that I don't actually have the capacity to read. So there might just be 1 or 2 we want to unhaul, but let's have a quick look. Those of you that are new, I have got my TBR shelf on these 2 shelves here. It's split into fantasy at the top and then basically everything else on this next one down. I am now, you won't be able to see it, but oh, maybe you can actually a little bit. I am now starting a 3rd TBR shelf, which is down here, which is basically like seasonal books. So I've got 2 Christmas books on that 3rd shelf down, which I'm just not going to read until Christmas. So they can live there. And then I am tempted to pull out things like potentially the Mindfuck series. I might also put that on that shelf because I just really want to read that at Halloween. So I'm just not going to pick it up at any other time than Halloween. And then when particular like holidays within the year come around, I can look at my like holiday specific TBR shelf. Just whilst I've still got lots of room on these shelves, I figured I might as well spread them out so they're as organised as possible. So let's have a look together and just do a quick review. Okay, here is the shelf. I'm gonna move the TBR jar out of the way. Invisible Life of Addie LaRue. I'm actually very excited to read this. Hopefully we'll get to that relatively soon. Dance of Thieves as well, I'm excited about. I love a series that's a duology. Aren't duologies just the best? It means you've only got 2 books to read, but it's not just one. It's like the perfect amount. Excited to read that. Ninth House by Leigh Bardugo. All of the spooky kind of witchy vibes. I'm also looking forward to getting to that. These 2 books are quite high contenders for a bit of an unhaul. Assistant to the Villain and Apprentice to the Villain. I've read most of Assistant to the Villain, but there's something about it that just keeps, I just keep putting it down. I don't know why. It's like I'm just slowly reading it over months. I'm just not that gripped by it. I don't know if there's anything that exciting in terms of plot that's like ever gonna happen. I really wish I could listen to the audiobook of it, but I keep trying and the audiobook voice is like so annoying to me. I'm gonna leave it. These were the ones that I was tempted to get rid of. I'm gonna give it another try because I do really enjoy the writing. It is kind of funny and light-hearted and silly, and I do like that kind of thing, so I'm gonna leave it. This whole thing I'm really pumped by. I have to be honest, I'm actually not very excited by When the Moon Hatched by Sarah A. Park. Has anyone read it? Anyone that's read When the Moon Hatched, could you let me know what you think and if it's any good? But the rest of these, like Prison Healer, Six of Crows, I'm so excited. Throne of the Fallen, Light Lark, Red Rising, Ministry of Time. I'm actually excited for all of those. When the Moon Hatched, not so much. And then if we have a look on this shelf, I think that actually the only one on here as well that I'm tempted to unhaul is Not in Love by Ali Hazelwood. But again, I do think I might like it. Gosh, sorry, I thought I thought I fully was gonna have a load of books that I wanted to unhaul, but now that I'm looking at it, there's actually just not that many books here, and I might read them, like I genuinely might get to them. I could unhaul this, but I think I will read it. I don't know when, but I feel like I will read it at some point, so maybe that goes back on. Right, we're gonna end this exercise. It was useless. I'm gonna leave them all here. We're not gonna unhaul anything, but I do think it was a useful activity in just seeing what we've got on the shelf and identifying what's missing. There's definitely some fantasy books on my list that I want to add to this shelf. And I can think of at least one romance book that I want to add to here as well, so I've got some shopping to do. Okay, we've now successfully reviewed the shelf. Next thing I wanted to do really quickly was update the TBR jar. So again, for anyone that's new, this is how we pick a lot of the books that we read. I've got all different types of prompts in here, and for the most part, I put back the prompts that I get out, but some of them are starting to get a little bit repetitive, so I did want to spruce it up and put some new ones in here. I haven't done that yet for 2025, so I'm just gonna like add some new prompts in here. I think we could have some prompts that are like I need something to lean on. I need a book to lean on. I'm so excited for Quicksilver Book 2. Oh, please give us a name, give us a release date. I thought it was so good. Personally, I thought it was so good. Right, okay, let's do a book that begins with the letter of the month that you're in. Prompt 1. And let's do, I don't know why these are so fun to come up with, but they just really are. But with an animal on the front cover. And that can be anything. I will include like mystical creatures in that. Like if it's a dragon or a Gryphon or like any mystical creatures or any actual animals. I think that's quite a fun one. A book by an author I haven't read for. That prompt might already be in there, but I'm okay. I like diversifying my authors, so there's a chance that that one's not in there, just in case. Let's add it. I've definitely got a prompt in there that's about new genre. A book with over 4.5 on Goodreads, which I basically think is impossible to find. If that one comes up when we choose that one, we are gonna have a serious task of finding a book with over 4, oh no, I've almost ripped the prompt in half. Finding a book that's got over 4.5 on Goodreads. Okay, let's just do 2 more. Book I've been putting off reading. It's good to just force me to get through any books that I've been avoiding. I can already think of a couple that are on my shelf behind me that I've just not been reading. Okay, last one. Let's do a bold one. A bold one, none of these are that crazy. A book that starts a new series. Okay, right. The new prompts we've got are a book. Oh, dropping them all. Okay, so the prompts we've got are a book that starts a new series, a book that I've been putting off reading, a book with over 4.5 on Goodreads, a book by an author that I haven't read before, a book that begins with the letter of the month that we're in, and a book with an animal on the front cover. Fun! Okay, cool, that's a little refresh of the jar, which I think is a great thing to do each month, just to like mix up the prompts that we get in there. So that can go back on the shelf. Right, let's go downstairs, make a cup of tea, and then I'm gonna tell you all about Deep End by Ali Hazelwood that I finished. And I have also, because I spoke to you now 2 days ago and I said that I wasn't reading a book at the time, ended up putting on a book so I could do my book journaling and then like binging almost the entire thing yesterday. And I've nearly finished reading Icebreaker by Hannah Grace. So I'll also tell you about my thoughts on Icebreaker and Deep End whilst we have a cup of tea downstairs. And then we're gonna go to the shops. Tea, we've got a snack. For anyone as obsessed with chocolate pretzels as me, I have to say the Ollie's ones are not my favourite. For me, flips are much nicer, but it's still a chocolate covered pretzel. I mean, whichever way you cut it. So I'm gonna have a couple of these, enjoy my decaf tea, and tell you a little bit about the two books I've been reading. Honestly, they're not going to be the longest reviews ever, because if you've read them, then you know they're not the most complex books in the world. Let's start with Deep End by Ali Hazelwood. So Deep End is Ali Hazelwood's newest release. It came out literally a few days ago. It's about two swimmers. Well, actually, it's about one diver, one Olympic diver and one Olympic swimmer. Before we get into my actual thoughts, I just want to say I've seen so much like complete slander of this book online, mostly because of how spicy it is and how much spice is in the book, which is kind of mind-blowing to me because the title of the book is Deep End and the original title of the book was Wet, W-H-E-T, like whet your appetite, wet in other ways. It's obviously about swimming. Ali Hazelwood very clearly marketed this book as her spiciest book yet. So I don't understand why people are confused that there's then therefore quite a lot of like smut and spice in it. So that's the first thing I'll say. I think there is literally, it's so frustrating to me when people criticize something for being exactly what it said it was going to be on the tin. It's like when I've seen a couple of comments like on my videos in the past, and I'm sure other people have got the same ones, being like, oh, I can't believe I just watched you like read and talk about books for an hour. Like, that's so boring. The title of the video was Reading Vlog. Like, we're here to talk about books. If you click on a video called Reading Vlog and then are upset that what we do in the vlog is read, that has to be on you. So I'm here to defend poor Ali in some of the criticism that she's got about how spicy the book is, when she very, very clearly marketed it as her spiciest book ever. Now, my actual thoughts on the book. Having said that, I didn't love it. I listened to the audiobook. I thought the audiobook was good. I would recommend the audiobook. It was a true duet in that it wasn't just chapter by chapter. It was, he read his bits, she read her bits, regardless of what the chapter was, which I really enjoyed. I also really liked the plot. Not that there was a huge plot, but I really liked the plot. And I liked the swimmers aspect of it. I liked learning all about the diving. I liked the like competitive elements and the competitions and like the training they did. I really enjoyed all those elements. I actually didn't really enjoy the spice. So if that was people's criticisms, I would accept that more. It's meant to be like quite kinky spice, in the sense it's meant to be like a whole BDSM type thing. It's not really, in my opinion, or I don't know. I think they made such a big deal about how outrageous the spice was going to be. It almost could like never live up to that, and then it just ended up being like, no, you're just two people in like enjoying each other kind of in the same way as in like every other book I've read. So I did find like the discussion of like how outrageous it was going to be a bit unnecessary, and I also thought that it did get in the way a little bit, and I often don't think that. I think that spice and smart can really add to a story and really add to character development, and actually there is so much you learn about characters through their language in regards to like consent and care and what their boundaries are. I think you learn a huge amount about characters, so I actually think you get a lot out of those scenes in if it's done right. This, I felt like it was a little bit overdone. Like I didn't necessarily need that much of it, and I didn't love the way it was described, I think. Like I think it's partly just like the language. It's just the writing around the smut. I actually think that Ali Hazelwood's best work is smut-free. I think that Chess and Mate, I really, really enjoyed that book. And the more I think about it, it's definitely my favorite book of hers. Whereas the books that has had smut in, I don't know, I don't want to ramble about the spice stuff too much. I think it was probably just a writing style thing that didn't suit me. I think Ali's best work is without it. I'm sure it's a personal preference. Of course it's a personal preference. All of reading is personal preference. But when, for example, Elle Kennedy or Elsie Silver write spice into their scenes, I think it's done so well, and it hits every single time. It adds so much depth to the characters. It makes me just like fall in love with them as a couple even more. Whereas I feel like I listened to the whole of Deep End and it didn't really pull any major emotions out of me. Like I never giggled and kicked my feet or anything, but I did have a nice time. It's not like it was awful and I was like, ugh, I hate this. So I'm gonna give it a 3 stars, just like solid 3 stars, maybe 3.25, because I did enjoy it, but it wasn't like incredible. But on the note of Ali Hazelwood and her slightly spicier books, I have now heard that Bride, the second book, the sequel, that's what it's called, the sequel to Bride is coming out later this year. I think she said in October, which I am very much looking forward to. I know Bride was so hit or miss. I loved it, and that is where I think she did do spice well. But I also think that 1, there wasn't that much spice in Bride, and 2, it was fantasy spice. So the rules are just different. The rules are different, everything's different. So I'm very excited about that. Okay, and then I have been listening to Icebreaker by Hannah Grace. I think I'm about 80% of the way through now. This is also one of those poor books that has had like an unbelievable amount of criticism online. Icebreaker by Hannah Grace is obviously one of the original BookTok books. I think it blew up to a crazy degree. I think it's got something like 1 million reviews on Goodreads or something insane like that. And the reviews are mostly positive. So why that book is being dragged right now, I know it's because like the front cover is slightly cartoony and there's a lot of arguments about that appealing to children, which I just really strongly disagree with. I mean, you only need to read the back or for 2 seconds to know what the book is going to be about, and it's in the adult section. So anyway, and I've also seen a lot of criticism about like the spice and the smutty side of it and how it's like the poster child of BookTokers just being addicted to, you know, that type of thing, which I also so strongly disagree. I don't know why this particular book is getting dragged so much. I will say there is a lot of spice in it and it is relatively boring. However, it's not problematic in any way. It's probably some of the most consent-based, highly communicated, most respectful spice I've read in any book. The language that Hannah Grace uses to like sprinkle in throughout the entire book, to be honest, like respect for others, acceptance of boundaries, setting of boundaries, the importance of therapy, communicating your thoughts and feelings. Like honestly, the list could just go on and on. I think it is one of the most respectful, like well-considered books about a group of people at college that I've ever read. So she definitely deserves props for that. So just super quickly, in case you haven't read it, the story is about an ice hockey player and a figure skater. I think that the book in general for me is not that exciting. I'm a little bit bored. I've got 20% left to go, and it's just, there's not really any plot in it at all. I still am waiting, like I'm not waiting anymore, 80% of the way through, but I feel like I kept waiting for the plot to happen. There is no real plot. It's about a load of students at college, at university, ice hockey team, figure skater. She likes the captain of the ice hockey team relatively quickly, and then it's kind of just about their lived experience at college together. Not a lot happens. I'm gonna give it 3 stars. Actually, I will give Deep End 3.25 and Icebreaker 3. Icebreaker definitely gets less than Deep End just because like really nothing happens in it. So it's not the most exciting book. I think if you want a palate cleanser, or if you're feeling, I personally like reading this type of book, if I'm feeling especially anxious or overwhelmed and you want a book that's not gonna put you on the edge or make you feel stressed, you just want like a book where, relatively speaking, everything's pretty happy, people are just like having a good time and falling in love, then Icebreaker is a good like palate cleanser, chill kind of book to tide you over in between like more intense books that get your adrenaline pumping. This is not an adrenaline pumping kind of book. It's got like no emotion out of me. Like I haven't laughed out loud, I haven't giggled and kicked my feet, but it's not a horrible time. I'm not cringing. So anyway, that is enough of me yapping about those 2 books. But they are two books that are relatively similar in the sense that they're fluffy, quite heavily spiced romance, contemporary romance books. So I'm ready to read something else. I'm ready to mix it up. I'm ready to go back to fantasy. I'm ready to also read a physical book because those are both audiobooks, which will have done them slight disservice. I know I would have enjoyed them more if I'd read the physical copy, but I'm ready to read a physical copy book. I'm ready for some fantasy. I want to buy some new fantasy especially, but we're just going to go browse everything, pick something, and I think the plan is to pick a book. Well, maybe we'll buy one or two books, we'll see how we get on, but to buy some books and then start reading one of the books that I buy today in a coffee shop. That is like my dream plan for this afternoon. So let's do it. I'm gonna stop messing about. I'm gonna finish my tea while I just send a few emails, and then we're gonna head off, buy some books, read some books, and just chill out. And what a nice way to spend the afternoon. Oh, my throat is definitely sore, so pray for me please. I really don't want to get ill, or I don't want this illness to develop into anything. Here's hoping a steady diet of tea and chocolate covered pretzels are going to heal me. Right, I'll see you at the bookshop.
I've never been known for my cautious side. You should know that I'm well aware. I don't want anything left untried. Will you come with me, mon cher? So let us just do my love and not stop thinking of this over. So let us just do my love and see where this road will take us now. It's not that you're timid, no one could say. Choosing to walk with the gale. What shall we call us? Hobos per se. We'll find that out on the way. So let us just do my love and not stop thinking of this over. Let us just do my love and see where this road will take us now. I've never been known for my cautious side. I know the wind that I stir is a gale. So let us just do my love and not stop thinking of this over. Let's just do my love and see where it goes. So let us just do my love and not stop thinking of this over. Let's just do my love and see where this road will
Okay, we are back in the car. Oh, it's chilly in here actually, after being sat in a cozy bookshop. That was so nice. I can't quite comprehend how nice that was. One, just being back surrounded by all the books again. If you get it, you get it. This just brings me so much joy. Going back to the bookshop was lovely, just having a bit of a wander around. I did get some books. I'll show you what they all are in just a second. I'm telling you now, I'm promising it to all of us. As soon as spring arrives, like on the first like true day of spring, we are collectively going on the biggest, most lovely tour of London bookshops. Don't get me wrong, I love my local, but it's not the cutest location. It's not the biggest bookshop. It's not tiny, but there are so many wonderful bookshops in London, and I just don't ever go there. And it does take me like an hour to get into central London where all the really great ones are. And when it's like raining and grey and miserable, it just doesn't appeal to me that much. But as soon as it's spring, I think springtime and bookshops is literally perfect. You get yourself a coffee or even an iced one if it's a warm spring day, and we are gonna go. We're gonna bookshop hop, like a bar crawl, but a bookshop crawl in spring in the sunshine. And I just keep thinking about how much I want to do that day. So that's coming. We're gonna do that together as soon as weather's here. Anyway, for now, it was so nice. I sat myself in a coffee shop and I had a black Earl Grey tea, which was delightful. I haven't had Earl Grey tea in forever, and a chocolate bar. So simple. It was the least fancy place ever, but Earl Grey tea in a mug and a chocolate bar, the Tony's salted caramel. Oh, just the dream. And I just got to sit there and start reading a book. Okay, we'll do the haul in just a minute, but you saw I started reading Magnolia Parks by Jessa Hastings. I feel stressed. I don't know what to tell you, but my heart rate is elevated. I've been putting off this book for a while and this series for a while because I know that it is a story about very toxic relationships, very Gossip Girl-esque, and I thought that would annoy me, and it still could. Maybe because also like I've exited that time in my life, and I know those feelings of like really toxic love in your 20s and in your teens, and it's such a stressful, horrible time. And to be in a secure, loving, when you get to that point, you're like, oh my gosh, I just don't want to revisit any of that madness. So I was kind of like, maybe it'll just annoy me reading about toxic love, but I did love Gossip Girl, and Gossip Girl set in London is basically the premise for this series. It's very wealthy, very privileged children, or not children, but young adults, but children of very rich people, young adults in London. And I mean, I've already read the beginning, and like there are Annabelles, which is like a private members club. Anyway, I decided to start reading this one, mostly because it matched my outfit so well. If I'm honest, that was the strongest contender. I was like, it's Valentine's Day, it was Valentine's Day week, it's pink and red, I'm in pink. The color coordination had me reaching for it. Anyway, then I opened the first page, and let me just read this first page to you because I think this book might destroy me. I think this could be a 5-star. Like, I actually think this could be a 5-star. I think it could make me properly cry, and books don't often make me like properly cry. I don't know, I'm feeling stressed, guys. I think this could wreck me. Right, let me just read you this first page because I just thought, Jessa Hastings, I think she's gonna be a good writer. Right, listen to this. How many loves do you get in a lifetime? How many people do you get to call yours? There are all sorts of love in this world. Not all of them, but most of them are beautiful. Some are old, some noble, some brave. Others are dishonorable and weak and make you so by association. Some are a low whisper on a somber night. Some are maddening. Some you can't ignore. They slowly burn inside of you, never quite going out completely, but you're too scared to dare to try to fan the flame. Some loves you pretend you don't feel, even when you can, even when you know you do. Even if he's the first thing you think of in the morning, even if he's like a match in the darkened room of your heart. Because loving something how you love him is a painful love that puts rocks in your pockets and melancholy in your eyeballs. And if time has taught you anything, it's that it doesn't matter. You'll love him forever anyway. Oh dear. Like, I don't know what else to say. I have goosebumps. I've got 2 layers on and my body is covered in goosebumps and I'm sweating. Shit, I didn't swear, I'm sorry. That's 2 videos in a row, I'm sorry. I think we're in trouble. Right, I read 20 pages. I think it could be a winner. Right, okay, enough about Magnolia Parks. But I am now reading Magnolia Parks. It has begun. I've still got 20% of Icebreaker left, and it almost feels like I now want to DNF it, but I'll finish it off, then I'll pick this back up again. But have you read it? I know so many people have, but have you read it? Tell me, help me, what do I do? Oh, that's gonna be a good one. Okay, let me show you the other books that I got quickly. Actually, I'm gonna take this off. I got in this car freezing, and now after like remembering what I've just read in the coffee shop, I'm now like all hot and flustered. You know when a book impacts you like that, it's a good sign. Okay, so we bought, including Magnolia Parks, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 books. Treated myself. So first up, Magnolia Parks by Jessa Hastings, London Socialites, Toxic Love, Drama, Gossip Girl. Next book, I actually picked up Daydream by Hannah Grace, which I think is the 3rd book in the Maple Hill series. I'm obviously currently listening to Icebreaker, relatively underwhelmed, but the one character that I do really like in it is Henry. And this, well no, actually I like all the characters in it, but I'm the most intrigued by Henry and I really want to read his story. This is his story. I might have a look at some reviews of other people who review books online whose opinions I really trust and see what they thought of the 2nd book, and then I'll either just skip the 2nd book because if they're interconnected standalone you don't really have to read them, and just read Henry's story because I'm really intrigued by it, or I'll read the 2nd one and then this one. But I just picked it up and it was also on the buy one get one half price shelf along with the main book that I actually went to get, which is Out of the Woods by Hannah Bonham Young. I'm so excited to read this. It's actually smaller than I thought, but I think this book is like an immediate 5 stars. I'm not even sure if I even need to read it. Obviously I'm desperate to read it, but if it's not 5 stars I'll be shook. It's everything I want in a book. It is about a couple that have been together forever, and it's all about basically how you maintain long-term love and how you continue to like keep that spark and continue to fall in love with each other over time as you two evolve as individuals, because you basically become entirely different people years into marriage than you were at the beginning. So how do those two entirely different people remain in love? And I just think that's everything that I want to read. I love the idea of enduring love. Obviously I'm getting married, so I entirely subscribe to the concept of staying with one person and staying with them through like thick and thin, but I'm under no illusions that that's easy. And I think that so many romance books that are written and so many romance books that I read are all on that falling in love early stage. They're quite often lust filled and the book pretty much ends either once they say they love each other or once they get engaged or when they walk down the aisle, but it ends right at that beginning part of their relationship before the rest and the most of their love story occurs. Most of your love story is in that decades long once you've met each other, hopefully. So I'm really excited about this. I think it'll feed my soul in all sorts of special ways. The 1st book in this series, again, they're interconnected standalone, so I don't think you have to read it first, is Out on a Limb, which is Bo and Wynn's story, and I absolutely loved that. This is about Sarah and Caleb, which are their 2 best friends that are already married in that 1st book, so you already know that they're together, and I'm just very excited to read about some of the troubles they're having in their marriage and how they come back together, or maybe not, but I'm guessing that they do find their way back to each other or manage the rifts or the distance that they've identified. Anyway, very, very, very excited about Out of the Woods. Next, I picked up Crooked Kingdom by Leigh Bardugo, which is the 2nd book after Six of Crows. I just can't tell you how strongly I feel that I'm gonna love Six of Crows. I know I haven't read it yet, and I know I've teased you a number of times now. It's probably really irritating you. It's also really irritating me that I've picked the book up a couple of times and then just not felt like I have the time to dedicate to it. I'm gonna love Six of Crows. I just know it. So I picked up Crooked Kingdom so that I've got this as soon as it's finished to read the next one. I also got Legendborn by Tracy Dion. I've seen so much amazing stuff about this book. I honestly don't know loads about it, but it's YA. It's about a teenage girl who comes into her powers and she's part of a secret society that hunt magical creatures. I don't know all the details, but I've heard it's fantastic. I also feel like there's a distinct lack of diversity, especially in fantasy series, I feel like. And I really noticed that during Black History Month last year when I was looking for authors to read, and I just couldn't find any or much Black representation in fantasy books. So I've heard amazing stuff about this book. I'm very excited to read it, and I'm so pleased that Waterstones had a copy, because half the books I'm trying to find these days, I can never find an actual copy of them. I still don't have a copy of Caught Up by Liz Tom Ford, which is one of my favourite books, and I just can't get my hands on it. Okay, and then the final book that I got was The Crimson Moth by Kristen, is it Ciccarelli? I'm not exactly sure how you pronounce her surname. Kristen Ciccarelli, I think it is. The Crimson Moth. If you're in the States, then this is Heartless Hunter or The Heartless Hunter. It's the same book. I'm not sure why the UK and it's basically everywhere else in the world apart from North America, it's called The Crimson Moth, and only in North America is it called Heartless Hunter. Anyway, same book. That confused me for ages because I kept seeing people talk about Heartless Hunter and I couldn't find it anywhere. So it kind of sounds like a slam dunk of a concept to me. It's a witch and a witch hunter, fantasy romance. Surely that's just going to tick all of my boxes. So this is the first book in the series, and I believe the next book comes out out this year, or the third book comes out this year. I think this is the first one, and there aren't, oh, there's a map. We love it when there's a map. Okay, yeah, I think this is the only book that's out so far, and then the second book comes out this year. And that is the final book that I got. So I'm not trying to be crazy, but I really feel like that could be one of the best hauls I've done, in the sense that I just feel like they're all a slam dunk. I think they could all be fantastic. Maybe Daydream by Hannah Grace might not be like amazing, but I just really want to read Henry's story, so I bought it. Okay, that is it on the books. I now need to get home because I've got a lot of work to do, and I really want to get home and read Magnolia Parks. I think we've had a very successful February monthly reset. I love the fact that I've ended up wearing pink the entire video. Very pleased with that. We've successfully done journal update, reviews of books I'm currently reading, reviewed the TBR shelf, added to the TBR jar. We've done a bit of a haul. We didn't actually unhaul anything in the end, which maybe was a bit of a cop out from me, but I'm gonna leave those books in there a little bit longer. I think we've done it all. Let me know what you think of these videos. I'm hoping to do one, like I said, every single month. So next up will be the March monthly reset, which hopefully will have spring by then. Let me know what you think of these videos. I love them. I think they're such a productive, I'm getting chilly again now that my Magnolia Parks adrenaline shot has worn off. I think it's such a nice way to just like reset your bookish life and keep track of where you're at with it all, which if it's as much of an addictive hobby for you as it is for me, I think it's such a nice way to reset your hobby. Anyway, let me know what you think. I'm gonna do one of these every single month, as long as you like it. If you hate them, I'll obviously call it quits. Next week's bookish video will be back with the reading vlogs, but otherwise, that's it for this week. Thank you so much for watching, guys. I hope you're having the loveliest week, and I truly cannot wait to see you in the next one. Bye, guys.